In our politics lead, 1 week since leaving Washington, D.C., members of the Trump family are back in the spotlight again today. Just in the last hour, Donald Trump Jr. called into a rally in Wyoming with Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz, urging MAGA supporters to vote Republican Congresswoman Liz Cheney out of Congress for voting to impeach his father.
Since the people of Wyoming are clearly not thrilled with Liz Cheney, let's find someone who can replace her and actually do that job well.
As I said, Congresswoman Cheney voted in favor of impeaching Donald Trump. That was her offense. Let's discuss. Ron and Abby. Abby, I mean, did the Trump era end?
Apparently not. I think, Don Jr. seems to be up to his usual shenanigans, focused mostly on political considerations that are squarely focused on his father rather than the Republican Party at large. I mean, this is exactly the kind of thing that obviously the minority leader in the House, Kevin McCarthy, is trying to avoid, this sort of Republicans eating their own narrative, but that is exactly what is happening here. And the only person who benefits from this is Donald Trump, who is no longer in office, even though McCarthy says that he's going to help elect Republicans in the House and the Senate. I think Republicans have a real reason to be skeptical of that, especially after what happened in Georgia when the president seemed to put his own political fortunes ahead of his party.
And Ron, just yesterday, CNN reported that House Minority Leader McCarthy told his fellow Republicans in a call to, quote, cut the crap when it came to attacking each other. One day after that, Congressman Matt Gaetz goes to Wyoming, which is kind of far from his home district in Florida, and he and Don Jr. rally against the number 3 Republican in the House. I mean, do McCarthy's threats mean anything to the Trump wing of the party?
No. I mean, look, I mean, and the Trump wing of the party, remains the party. I mean, this is exactly what Republicans have let themselves in for, as we've discussed before, by allowing Trump's unfounded claims, his lies about the election, to take root, because they basically guarantee that his influence in the party remains enormous. You can't look at him and say, well, he led us to defeat. No, he wasn't defeated. It was stolen, that argument. And by allowing and abetting that argument, they have put themselves in a position where his tattoo on the party just gets deeper and deeper. And it is worth noting that while Republicans are still overwhelmingly bending the knee to Trump, as we saw in the Senate as well, there was new polling out today from the Public Religion Research Institute that roughly 3/5 of Americans overall say that he is encouraging white supremacist groups, and he bears a lot of responsibility for the attack on the Capitol. I mean, they are deepening their association with him even after an unprecedented riot that raises deep questions about the extent of his reach through the electorate going forward.
And meanwhile, as they go after Liz Cheney, they're standing by Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, the Republican from Georgia, who is a conspiracy theorist and a bigot. Speaker Pelosi attacked McCarthy today for putting Marjorie Taylor Greene on the Education Committee, even after video had surfaced of Greene attacking a Parkland survivor after news that she had spread conspiracy theories about Parkland, about Sandy Hook. Now, the Congresswoman just responded, Congresswoman Greene just responded to efforts to punish her, saying in a statement that, quote, Democrats want to take me out because I represent the people, and they absolutely hate it. Abby, what do you think?
Well, this is part of the same, it's the other side of the coin of the Matt Gaetz situation, where you're seeing the so-called Trump wing of the party really running the show here. And Marjorie Taylor Greene not only is not being reprimanded for her well-known conspiratorial comments and beliefs, but she has also been welcomed into the Republican Party by Trump himself, being invited to the White House multiple times when Trump was president, even after all of these views had been well known, her sympathies for QAnon and so on and so forth. This is just further evidence that, Kevin McCarthy, as a minority leader, has absolutely no intention of moving these sort of fringe views outside of their party. Placing her on a committee and saying he's going to give her a slap on the wrist is about, as weak of a reprimand as you can get. It's not even a reprimand. It's just him skirting the issue altogether. And this is something that I think could be very destructive to the Republican Party, just given how really beyond the pale some of these views are on Sandy Hook, on Marjorie Taylor Greene, high school. All of these views are just really reprehensible.
Marjorie Stoneman Douglas.
Marjorie
Stoneman Douglas. It's
Yeah.
no problem.
Right.
And she's a bigot too, an anti-Muslim bigot. I mean, it's reprehensible. Ron Brownstein, Abby Phillip, thank you so much. Appreciate it.